it's an incredible admission for the central banks to say, yes, the reason we are buying gold is because we see this new paradigm unfolding where we'll be back to where we were previously in financial history, that the world will use gold as a currency for trading and for wealth preservation. In addition, John Henry, we had an extremely noteworthy article come out, and it was written by one of the most respected investors of our generation, who is the former CEO of PIMCO Asset Management. PIMCO runs over $1 trillion. That's trillion with a T, most of it in bonds. And what he admitted is that we are seeing the U.S. Treasury bond, which is denominated in dollars, we are seeing it, quote unquote, lose its strategic significance, end quote. So really, all financial advisors today build their models, their recommendations to families upon this notion that the T-bill, the dollar, is the risk, what they call the risk-free asset. It's as close to perfect safety as you can get. And when you look at the construction of portfolios, this is still the rubrics that they are using. Now, what this PIMCO CEO is admitting is the foundation upon which Americans and families around the world are building their financial futures on is broken. And it begs the question, okay, well, if that's the case, isn't history again going to manifest itself that a currency like the dollar and all of its instruments, CDs, T-bills, T-bonds, are they, as has always happened in history, going to see their value, the purchasing power they represent, implode? And that's what he is suggesting we are in the early innings of. When that happens, people look for something that is safe and liquid. And when they begin asking themselves then, what is safe? They're going to be reminded, not just the last 50 years or 100 years, but going back as far as we can find in financial history, gold has worked. And so we think that is the insight that these central banks are looking at to give them this urgency to diversify into gold. So we would say to all families out there, we are called to be good stewards. You concluded, John Henry, by saying, why should Catholic families do something? We're concluded to be good stewards. Joseph protected his family and led them, got them out of trouble when his child was potentially going to be persecuted from Bethlehem. We are called to be good stewards. And financially, how are you going to look yourself in the mirror? How are you going to be accountable for the blessings that you've been entrusted with so far when this accelerates and the dollars lose their value? To say, I knew this was going to happen, but I just didn't do anything about it. I stood there like a deer in headlights. It's not difficult. It shouldn't be scary. This is not Armageddon. This is saying the sun's going to come up the day after the dollar paradigm ends. It's a question, have you taken the steps necessary to be ready so that your family can have great opportunities for the future? As this new financial paradigm unfolds, he who has the goal will have greater influence. And we want Christians to have even greater influence in society moving forward. And again, the ability to protect your family, give them great opportunities.